Hello, my name is Ben Crenshaw, and I'm going to give a presentation on quantum computing. Now, in 1992, a movie called Sneakers, starring Robert Redford, where he plays an ex-hacker that has started a security penetration company testing the security vulnerabilities of different financial firms. In the movie, he's suddenly approached by two unknown men claiming to be agents of the NSA and subsequently hired to steal a computer board for that agency. Well, Redford's team eventually does steal the device from a professor of mathematics and cryptology. Upon delivery of the unit, however, the team discovers the agents are not from the NSA, but associated with organized crime. Back at his headquarters, one of the technicians powers on the box and discovers that it can anonymously hack into any computer network system in the United States. This description device, known as C-Tech Astronomy, is found to be an anagram for, quote, too many secrets, end quote. With this device, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and other entities would be able to spy on the American citizens electronically, anytime, anywhere. Though this movie is a fictional account of what could happen if such a device existed, it is now well within the realm of possibility. Due to the current implementation of modern encryption algorithms, people feel moderately safe with online transactions, such as banking, email, credit card purchases. However, with the nature of quantum computing's probability and optimization related task-solving abilities, this privacy is in jeopardy. Because data stored by companies, governments, and even private citizens is online and in the internet cloud, more breaches of this private data will occur. Consequently, the engineering technology of quantum computing will precipitate the end of online privacy and security, because current public key encryption will be obsolete. Hackers will be able to manipulate data in this new quantum key distribution, or QKD, system, and from the weakening condition of the current cryptological ciphers. Now, to understand what quantum computers can do, it's important to understand how current information technology works and how it secures data. To begin with, keeping secrets has been a fundamental part of our civilization. As a society developed written languages, a way to encode those languages soon followed. Ancient Sumerian civilizations sent coded message by substituting their letters for other symbols to be deciphered only by someone with the corresponding key. The image shown in this picture here is known as a skytail. This was used by the Spartan military to fight Greek, and it was used to send orders to troops on the battlefield. As you can see, the sender and receiver would have a wood rod exactly the same dimensions with a tightly wrapped piece of leather wrapped around it. The sender would write the message around the object and then unwind it and send it off. The recipient would take the message and wrap it around his stick to decrypt it. If the leather parchment were ever discovered, it would be meaningless, and thus the communication was secure. In 1797, Thomas Jefferson, as George Washington's Secretary of State, invented a cylindrical wheel with 26 circular threaded wooden pieces on a metal spindle. On each wheel, the letter of an alphabet was inscribed on the edge in a random order. Rotating the spindle would scramble or unscramble the letters. The receiver would spell a secret message on one wheel and then check one line on the other that made sense. The U.S. military used devices similar to this all the way up until 1942. Perhaps the most famous device in history of cryptology is the German Nazi Enigma machine. Enigma was considered unbreakable for its complexity, and due to the German changing the ciphers every day. However, cryptologists and code breakers at Bletchley Park, including Alan Turing, were able to solve this. The team had discovered a flaw in the encryption methods wherein a single letter could not be encrypted itself. With this in mind, the team was able to break the Enigma code and pass all the German movements to the Allies. Now, the transmitting of information covertly has not changed much since then. Today's standard of public key encryption or asymmetrical cryptography are the common form used in secure modern correspondences. To better understand asymmetric cryptology, it is essential to have a foundation of what symmetric cryptography is. Simply put, conjure an image of a treasure chest owned by individual A that is locked. The lock obviously has a key that can open or secure the chest. If individual A needs to protect the treasure, it goes into the container and the chest is locked. Since only one key can open the box, whoever has the key can access the contents. This is the essence of symmetrical encryption: one key to lock or encrypt and the same key to unlock or decrypt. The other key is the public key, and person A, again, can make multiple copies for distribution. If A gives person B one of the copies, person B is now able to open the chest only if it matches the first key. This is essentially how public key encryption works. With the implementation of quantum computing in the next couple of decades, we shall discover that the public-private key cryptology will be severely weakened. The most notable of this public-private key algorithm in trouble are the Diffie-Hellman, RSA, and the elliptical curve cryptology. This issue also covers SSL, which is the end-to-end security used for almost all secure communications between web servers and websites. Without the protection of HTTPS, as it's also known, online purchases, cyber merchants, remote banking, and email will no longer be protected. A hacker, using the computational ability of the massive number crunching of quantum computers, would easily be able to capture the public key encrypted sensitive information. Not only will this have an effect in private transactions, but will have far-reaching global consequences with national security. Since most military correspondences for email to communicate and use asynchronous encryption software such as PGP to encrypt that data, the danger of the sensitive information falling to hostile hands increases. In other words, secret communication would no longer be secret. According to one of the laws of quantum physics, it is impossible to measure a parameter of subatomic particles because it will alter another parameter. Also known as the observer effect, this makes the attempt to eavesdrop on digital communication in quantum computing scenario impossible. Each attempt to spy on the conversation will change one of the communication parameters and alter the transmitted message. This is why the upcoming quantum computers would communicate solely using quantum communication protocols. Now, the final reason that quantum computing will threaten digital security is the current cipher strength of encryption algorithms. In today's encryption, the security originates from the almost absurd time it takes to break the cipher. For example, if utilizing a 128-bit cipher, the number of possible keys is 128 bits, which is 2 to the 128th power for AES. To break the code, one would have to test each possible key until the correct was discovered. If a powerful computer could test about 1 trillion keys a second, then the amount of time it takes would be about 10 trillion years. However, according to Gisin in 2014, because the constant superposition of bits in quantum computers, the length of time to break the above encryption is now 6 months. For other algorithms such as RSA and EC, a quantum computer could crack almost immediately. Thus, the intercepting encryption communications from these ciphers could happen at a high level and become commonplace. The task of the quantum computing is to look for patterns within a massive number without having to check every digit in the number. The ciphers we have now in place, protecting our privacy, will ultimately fail to perform. In conclusion, though quantum computing technology is perhaps another couple of decades away, the time to develop new systems of cryptology is now. In the realm of cybersecurity, 20 years is just around the corner. Since most of our world is connected and digital trends prevail upon us to become even more connected, the path to a secure communication is vital. If we do not come up with more experiments and funding for quantum computing, the way will be ultimately blocked and be too late. People have the solid assumption that current encryption standards are safe and unbreakable. Yet there are companies that exist today that are pioneering the field of the superpositional bits. Accordingly, these special bits systems will ultimately allow public key encryption communication to be subject to eavesdropping. It will also allow quantum key distribution to be infiltrated by hackers. And last, it will exploit the weakness of current, well-used ciphers. Thank you very much.